I'm going to show you how to do a full wrap on an ATV. One of the first things you want to do is remove the racks off of it so that you've got exposure to all the body parts so you can wash the whole thing really well. You want to make sure you get into all the little nooks and crannies. These type of vehicles have a lot of different contours to them, so pay special attention to washing this vehicle well. Preparation is the key to the application process, so spend a little time, get the bike good and clean. Then once you get that done, then go back with a little wax and grease remover and wipe the whole bike down real well with that. And one of the things you want to do before you start is apply some 3M94 primer to it. The other thing you want to pay attention to is the temperature. You want to make sure it's between 60 and about 90-95 degrees. So once that bike has reached those temperatures, you're ready to do your application. Well, now that you've got your preparation done, you've got all the racks removed, it's all clean, ready to go, we want to start by measuring the vehicle. And what you're going to do is thinking about it in two halves. You've got a front half and a rear half, and then you've got the gas tank area. Okay, so now we're going to take some measurements of those areas and we're going to cut our vinyl to fit those areas. So you've got a front half and a back half. Consists of the whole front end of your vehicle and the whole back end. Then you want to think about the gas tank in that area separately. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to take some measurements so that we can go back to our piece of vinyl and cut out those sections. Then we'll start to apply it. Now, one of the things that we've done is we've not included the black plastic fender flares, the textured type black plastic. You don't want to cover that. Only the smooth surfaces are the areas that you want to put the vinyl graphics on. The other thing you want to make sure you don't do is don't do any of the motor or the exhaust or anything like that that has extreme heat to it. So now we're going to finish measuring here. We'll cut our pieces and then we'll show you how to apply it. So after you take your measurements, you're ready to go and cut your piece. And once you've got the piece cut, it's time to then position it into place. So what you're wanting to do basically is just take the piece and get it centered, and with your hand, make sure you've got all the edges covered. Then you can take some masking tape and secure it into position so that when you start to apply it, it will cover all the different corners of the bike up here. And then you're ready to go ahead and pull the backing off and do the install. All right, now what we've done is we've pulled the liner loose from here and then just cut the paper backing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay this back up, secure it up here to the handlebars, and then we'll untape it from the bottom, and basically we're just going to pull the rest of the paper backing off to expose the adhesive. Now you can reposition this piece as many times as you want, making sure that you've got this piece centered that'll cover all the different corners of your bike. Well, now that we've got it centered, we're basically just going to fold this back to split the two halves for the fenders. Now we're going to basically just make a relief cut up the center, and then this half will come down this fender and the other side will go down the other fender. Now that we've made our cut, we're going to basically take these two halves and work them down the fenders. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a second relief cut so that this piece works its way around. So there's a piece of body right here, and we're just going to cut this and conform it around the side of this gas tank here. So basically you just want to take your hands and you just want to work all the high spots of this material around. And you can pick it up as you go and lay it down so that you've eliminated the wrinkles out of it. So this is a high spot here on the bike on the front end. And then from there, you'll just start to work this material down all the different sides towards the edges. So basically what you want to do is apply heat to this material. And what the heat does is it softens the material and gives it a little more stretchability. And what Kevin's working on is these hard contoured areas. So right in here, he's put some heat to it. And one of the properties that makes the cast vinyl system so much superior to anything that's been out there is the fact that it does stretch and conform to these curves. So by using heat and some pressure with your fingers, you can see all of a sudden the shape of this four-wheeler start to come out of this vinyl. It's almost like, it's emerging through here. So you can take your fingers, you can take a squeegee, and you start to work these high ridges with this with the squeegee. You start to work these high ridges, and what he's going to do is he's going to start working his way towards the edge. A little bit of pressure here on the vinyl will help straighten out some of the wrinkles there, and then with the squeegee, he'll straighten out the rest of them. And then if there's a wrinkle or something that he's encountered that he can't get rid of, he'll actually back it up, apply some heat, and go back again with it. So it's just really a technique of some pressure pulling on the vinyl, working with your squeegee, and then on sharp contours like this is applying some heat with the heat gun to get that material to do what you want. So here as we're making the corner around the front of the bike, you want to just put some even heat on it and warm that material up. And you'll see some of the wrinkles start to disappear. And as that happens, then you'll just take it and gently stretch it down around that curve. Now you'll do sections at a time like that. And as you're coming around that corner, you're going to basically be able to create a smooth surface even though there was more material there to begin with than you had surface area for. And by using heat, once again, and stretching the material slightly, you can create the contour of the fender here. So it's a process of heat, and then the squeegee, and you'll hit it with a little more heat, and you'll eliminate those wrinkles. Well, now that you've got the vinyl laid down all the way over the edge of the fender, you want to come back and trim it off. And what you want to do is just lay the blade flush with the edge of the fender so that you don't have to worry about cutting into the plastic. So we'll lay the blade flush with the fender and then just work your way along that edge. Just take that extra off. And that's the fender completed. Now, one of the things about this cast vinyl that's completely different than anything on the market is the fact that you can actually do this to it. Other vinyls, you would just be making lots of small cuts with a knife and trying to overlap these pieces to get them to conform to these curves. But this particular vinyl product, this cast vinyl system, the only one out there on the market is the Mossy Oak Graphics system that uses 3M cast vinyl. This product, you can heat it and stretch it into these areas and get it to conform to all these curves. When you're conforming the material around like rivets for ATVs or boats, all you want to do is apply heat to it, work your squeegee around the perimeter of it. You can come back with your knife. After you conform it around the rivet, you can put a couple small holes underneath the bottom of it. So if any moisture does get in there, it can drain out. That softens that material and lets it conform around that rivet. We've completed our ATV, and wow, does this bike look awesome. There's so many different products that we have. I invite you to go to our website and see what we have that works for you. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you found this video helpful.